It's Real and Raw with Lynn Serrano. And who are you?
And I'm Brian.
Hey, Brian. Hey, what do you think of our new background? I like it. So,
Nothing like catching me mid-dance move, like one of the games we can play is we never know when the intro is going to end. So it's like, okay, stop, pause, do whatever.
yeah, something like that. But I do like the new background. So
Yes.
I hope it's inviting to other people too.
It's distinctive.
Yes, thank you for being here, you guys. Mm-hmm. Hello. Is that one of your friends? Or one of my friends?
I don't know who that
one
person
of my new
is,
friends.
But welcome.
Thank you. Welcome for being here. We are Real and Raw. I mean, Lynn and Brian.
Brian, yes. And see, if I don't remember my name, I just have to look at the title.
Yeah. Brian, don't tell anybody. That's why I did it.
Oh. Okay. Now we give away our secrets. Why do we have to do that?
I know, right? Friday, we were asking a question to consider.
Yes. So chime in. If you were with us on Friday, chime in. We'd like to know one recent life experience where you were stuck and overcame it through action. So if you're with us on Friday, or even if you're just joining us now, if you want to chime in and think about one thing that in life that you overcame, a life experience where you were stuck, you were just mentally stuck. Because Friday's talk was about was either about thinking or taking action. And so, hey, Sandra,
we love Sandy here, Mama Sandy, love it. Yeah. So, and she just had the new great grandbaby. So, congratulations.
We mentioned that my heart went to puddles with seeing those pictures on Facebook.
I know, really sweet, right? Right. So, today's question is what cost has inaction impacted your life?
Yep. At what cost has inaction impacted your life? Yep. That's it's not actually our question, it's our topic for today. Like when you look at when a lot of people in giving credit where credit's due, author Scott McCain was talking about this on one of his lives several weeks ago. And it's like when we look at return on investment, we look at what we got from it in terms of the good, but we don't also look at it in terms of inaction. Like what happens when we don't take action. And so another way of looking at that is the cost of inaction, because like everything, there's a reason why you're doing it. And like if it's a I don't know, whatever it might be, is that there's what you intend to happen, but then there's also what doesn't happen, and
I'll tell you what happens a lot is there's a lot of regret.
Absolutely.
For not taking action and always saying the woulda, shoulda, coulda, or what could have happened. Like that's so obvious. And yet people stay in their daily routines. They don't stir up anything. I mean, we're creatures of habit, what they say, but why don't you be a creature of moving just a little bit to get to where you want to be? And so, hey, Seesaw, just did a show with her. Thanks for being over here.
Thanks for joining us, Seesaw.
We appreciate it. So the cost of inaction is like good example. I'll give you a quick example. Seesaw and I just met her on Clubhouse, and I noticed on her TikTok that she does all these dancings and stuff. And I asked her to do something really quick that I could do a duet. And I did a duet with her. And the thing is I just wanted to show her energy and her personality. And the part is it would have been a lost moment if we just didn't take action to share and have that moment together,
Well, it's really unfortunate because there's two sides to everything that happens. It's like, okay, and where this comes from, just to bring the context to everybody, is within training and development, like business training or skills training, whatever, is that, and then also though, because that's all I do is train and develop, because I know that I'm only at my best when I'm, when I'm in that mindset all the time. And Lynn, as you know, like any performing artist or anybody that is really trying to do big things, is that you always have to be performing. You always have to be training and being a sponge. And one of my biggest mentors, his name is Bill from the Twin Cities. I love you, Bill. is that he said, you know, and he got it from one of his acting coaches, is that you're either on stage or in a class at all times. That's it. That's it. There is no other.
And Shakespeare said, you know, life is just a series of plays.
Yep.
And we're all a character in the play.
And I think that too much of it is that people look at the reward, but they don't ever, and maybe we're not wired to do this unless we have this insight. But what happens if you don't do anything?
You definitely like don't grow.
If we frame it that way, well, then we're going to be where we are. We're not going to move forward. And if anything, you know, if we stay where we are, that's the best scenario. What about if we don't take action? It's like we just stay where we are, because why would we want to pursue something that we don't want to disrupt? And so by moving back, right? So we actually retract from where we are by not taking action.
Good example. Another analogy is look at the little babies when they grow up.
Yeah.
I mean, they're learning how to walk, and they, you know, or remember when you were riding a bike, how many times did you fall off that bike? At least I know 20 billion times. I had all bruised legs. I was trying to ride a boy's bike and I had bruises all over. That's all I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, it's the tenacity to say, and you know what it is too? You get inspired by seeing everybody else riding a bike, right? And you're like, well, it's like the 4-minute mile, right? I mean, it's just all these things that's why we need to get out of ourselves and help other people. Because if you conquered something, there's so many people looking, wondering, how did you conquer that? How did you get, it was with action, not inaction. I can't teach you I can't make you ride a bike. I can't feed you, dress you, you know, all those things. Sandy said something here if you want to read it.
Yeah. From what I was told when I was young, no one told me to love myself first. I was told to care about others first.
Wow. So yeah, it's one of those things where, oh, here we go. Want to read that one?
Sure. This is an amazing topic, guys. Well, thank you, Sisa. People don't take action due to their fear of success and fear of failure. I couldn't agree more. But if you're not failing, you're not trying. The fear of success is just a limiting belief that anyone can overcome with self-work. 100%.
Give that 100%. Girl an A. You're head of the class.
Wow.
Sisa, I love you being here. That's
I think we
totally
should just end the broadcast right now.
You know what? I'm going to do a get 'em more thing. I really am. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a get 'em more thing. I got to take a picture of that.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Sisa, for that wisdom and sharing right there.
Yeah, you know, that's totally where we're talking on this topic.
Well, and the unfortunate part about it is that when somebody senses that there's something that they want to disrupt, oh, Sisa, thank you, is that it's unfortunate that people know what they
needs to be done.
We get feelings about where we want to be,
right?
But unless we actually take those, and what I'm trying to get at is, unless they're strong enough, we do nothing.
Or desire, like Think and Grow Rich. It's a desire. That's the bottom line, is truly what's the desire of your outcome.
Yep.
And one thing that's not going to happen is no action don't get you no desire.
Yep.
I mean, or it doesn't show your desire.
Well, and nobody wants to admit that they've been in action. Nobody wants to admit that they've been procrastinating, any of that. And it's okay. Your life's not over, but you have to be willing to, like we said in another show, be willing to confront yourself that, okay, I did this up until now. It hasn't worked. So am I going to give all that up, or am I going to bring that with me?
Right. Yeah. So it's, so get this. I realized I sit here, I got to do my exercise, right? So I realized that TikTok video, that's really exercise in disguise, because I'm getting my arm. See, I'm taking action.
All we need to do to put some color in Lynn's face is get her to dance.
So, you guys don't know what I'm talking about? Do they not know what I'm talking about?
I may not be TikTok famous, but I have never posted a video of me shaking my butt for likes.
And if the beat live, you know Lil Juke made it. Yaddy, 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 yaddy.
See, I'm taking action. Now I'm all blurry. I
Wow,
gave my
she's been
camera.
dancing so much she's blurry. What's going on over there? You fogging up the windows or what?
Okay, so maybe they gave me a little bit more cardio than I expected. Come on, expensive camera, work.
Just let it go. Let it come back. Let it come back. It works on its own time, not yours. Okay.
Actually, I feel like the Casper probably Ghost. I wanted to phase out on that one. But you see, you guys, you got to take some kind of action.
Just remember, if you wouldn't have took any action, there wouldn't be as much color in your face as there is now. So,
oh my gosh. You know, when I used to do my pleasure parties, I'd wear red shirts all the time because I would blush so much doing my parties that I just was trying to blend in. I didn't even have to wear lipstick. I wear a lipstick on here because I'm a little pale, but oh my gosh, you guys. So anyways, like what else, what other analogies can we give people to realize
one of the ones that's really powerful to me is that like you look at anything as an obstacle or something big that you're doing, is that you look at it like a mountain, like Everest, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, is that a lot of people, all of the evidence that you find about how not to do it, which is inaction, right? It's like, oh my God, I need to train 3 years in advance. I could get killed, you know, whatever. You fill your mind full of all of those self-limiting beliefs. Is that everybody talks about that, but they don't talk about, like, let's say you're looking back at the mountain after you've peaked it, right? After the summit, is that in the words that come up over and over again about somebody that was not in action for so long, but then they took action is, and I quote, I should have did this however many, you know, fill in the blank with years or whatever. And then end quote. You know, but here's also another thing too, is that hey, Julie, thanks for being here.
Not to interrupt, but did you get there safe? She was traveling from here to Florida. So I hope you got there safe.
Yeah.
And please take pictures of the stages that were dedicated to Mark, because I'd like to share that on my show sometime. So thank you. So those are the actions I want you to take. Okay. No. Anyways.
I think that those things in life are, you know, people shoulda, woulda, coulda type of stuff. But I think it takes one big thing like that for you to hold yourself accountable. You don't give up. You go through the peaks and valleys of victory and defeat. And once you do that, it changes in you. So the bigger the obstacle or the bigger thing you're doing, all it takes is one of those, in my opinion, for that to flip.
Absolutely.
But then also, though, you get, excuse me, you not only get the feeling that you overcame that, but also, though, is that, wow, I'm the only one in my way.
That's right.
I'm the only one in my way. Nobody's telling you that I have to be in action. So Sandy says, or you could have no control to take the action at the time. Way too young dealing with trauma, but I had a plan. Yeah.
But you know what? I will speak on that. That's a good point. I'll put that there for a minute. Sure. There was a lot of times that mentally I wasn't able to take action, but I would have to switch my mind and believe and think of the actions I needed to do in order to take the action. Sure. It's just like preparing. I mean, if you're going to take a shower, what do you need to do? You need to run that little water a little bit before you get in there, right? You're not going to run the water and let it run all day and then take the action to take a shower. One, that'd be an expensive water bill. But two is you don't do that until, well, okay. So like when I go swimming, I used to go swimming with the little old ladies in the morning. They'd be on one side of the pool. And I kid you not, I used to have to go on the other side of the pool and dive in because that's how I needed to handle it. Where some people walk in. So, I mean, it is a matter of taking actions. And we're all stuck in our heads and literally stuck with actions in our head as well. And so
I think too is that it's about who we surround ourselves with. And we've talked in previous shows about our tribes, the people that we interact with, where, you know, when the more in motion we are, the more we want to stay in motion. But the more we're not in motion, or there might be like little ripples of motion, right?
Right.
It seems like the biggest thing on the planet, because we've been stagnant or we've been in our head about things for so long, right? We've got a big story about it. But then once we emerge from that, if we are seeking something else, we're going to find it not only in ourselves, but also with everybody else. So correct. Fighting fear is a fight with one. Yeah. Only yourself. Absolutely. And I think also too, is that depending on what side of what tribe we're in, this happens, cohesiveness. We find so much evidence for whatever plane we're in. If, we find people that are stagnant or not up to much, which is okay. But eventually, if you want to emerge from that, you have to look somewhere else, right? Because everybody's going to find evidence for the group that they want to surround themselves with.
And basically, at the bottom line, what this really does, the cost of inaction, is all the regret you have in not taking action.
Mm-hmm.
And truly realizing, here I am, 55, single, and, in relationships that didn't serve me. And I don't mean it that way to hurt anybody's feelings. When I say that don't serve me, breakups are hard, and knowing when you need to let go, and knowing when things aren't going to work, it's a difficult topic, and it's a difficult thing to do. But sometimes it just happens, and if it happens, you just got to move forward and realize that that's one chapter closed, another chapter opens.
I think from a training and development standpoint, is that I once I came across this, so thank you again, Scott McCain, for this topic, is that it just blew my mind, because it disrupts all of the forgive yourself and move on. Absolutely, Julie. Is this will contend with any piece of blame or excuse that you ever have,
right?
Because it also kind of speaks to if you do nothing, right? Or if you want to answer somebody, or somebody's waiting for you to answer them, by you not choosing to say anything is still a choice, right?
Right.
So this is, even if you do nothing, there's still a response. There's still something that won't happen, right?
The stories we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
That the tourists, we spend more time in the stories we tell ourselves to not take the reasons why we shouldn't take action, because there could be this, there could be that. But one thing, even when I did pleasure parties out of town, one thing I didn't mess with, I'm going to that party and it's going to be snow, but I ain't going at nighttime, and I'll sleep on somebody's couch before I leave, because there's deer around and ice and all that. So, but the deer and the ice don't need to stop me from going to do what I need to do. And that's like pay bills. You gotta find reasons why you're doing what you're doing, enough to keep you accountable. And without enough reinforcement, it's like taking a sheet and saying the good and the bad, and splitting what's truth and what's possible. But Grant Cardone always talks about have these ideas and then implement and go back to what actions you need to take for that idea to come through. It's all about action.
I think that people are content with what the possible outcome is versus the unknown, right? Like, and let me set up the context, is that if somebody is in action, they know what they're going to get. There's no surprise. It's predictable, right? That becomes comfortable. But it's going to take a lot. It's going to take something to just annoy them or upset them in such a way for them to do anything other. And I think that that's what's fearful to people, is because they get comfortable with what they know, where they are, versus what they really want. They're going to have to step into the uncomfort, right? And as well as I do, in the performing arts and any place where you perform and you want to play a big game, is that you have to keep moving the needle to where you're uncomfortable more times than you are comfortable.
Yeah. And that's what the clubhouse has done for me, man. With the vulnerability, I've been so vulnerable. I could have wrote my book, all the guts that I've put out on that platform. We definitely need to move over and do some clubhouse stuff, only to get the material and share it with everybody here. We need to have the discussions there and bring them over here to this table. And I think it's really important, but definitely the whole allowing yourself to realize that, even Glenn Morshower said yesterday about, people, you may not want to grow up, but you got to realize being in the kiddie pool is no fun. you don't realize how much urine is in the kiddie pool. You need to get out of it. I was like, you're absolutely right. Glenn, words of wisdom of Glenn Morshower. He just has such a way. Yeah, serious. He said that. So yeah, I'm telling you. So seriously, it's let's see, here we go. And watch things like this to learn from. Yes, absolutely. And that's what we're trying to do at our show. We're not trying to tell you this is the way it is and how it is. We're just giving you different things to think about and stir your consciousness to think outside of your normal patterns of thinking, because we get into that stinking thinking, right, Brian?
We do. And this topic I'll continue to look at it deeply, even after we talk about it. But I felt it to be something that is important to me, but also though can help other people, because it's like we're all going through life, and with any decision that we make, it doesn't matter how big or how small, there's what we intend for that to do, but and then also though what happens if we don't do anything. Right.
I mean, like, they say about the cemetery, look at all the things that weren't said, done, and all,
and
to do.
I think the reality of, now, to me, I don't perceive the cost of inaction as negative. I think that some people may perceive it that way, and that's okay, because we as a human, as humans tend to remove ourselves from anything perceived negative, right? And that's okay. That's the human condition. But also, though, there's something to be said for it either happens or doesn't happen. It's those black and white types of things. If I do nothing, here's the likelihood of what's going to happen. If I do something, here's what's going to happen. If I do something for a committed future for nth degree, that I'm going to say I'm going to do it, regardless of what comes my way, that's going to lead up to other opportunities. And like life, we never know what's coming down the pipeline. As I put on my Facebook page, we're just blessed for every day. We don't know what's happening tomorrow. We don't know if you're going to be here tomorrow, right?
That's right.
But if we choose to not play in that world, not only are we a disservice to ourselves, but we're also a disservice to everybody that's in our world.
And that's just it. What we do now does affect what we do, what
absolutely
happens at the end, and I've been wrestling with this cold or whatever for, I don't know, for about a week now. And it's like, for me, every year this is the time I work out, not because everybody else does it, but I like to take from now to June and get in shape. And then I take the summer off kind of thing. But, so I'm like, what can I do? Okay, I can't exercise. So, I'm not going to go buy chocolates and eat them today, but I mean, you gotta think of the little things you can do, like if I'm going to eat a hamburger or something, I'll take one side of the bread off, I mean, just the little things I can do to help my mind deal with where I'm at, to get the results I want. And it's, if I don't think of the results in sight, it's so easy for me to go down that rabbit hole and not give a shit. Mm-hmm. So again, it's what cost of inaction is going to happen for me is that I'm just going to beat myself for not taking action, for not, life is a journey and adventure. And even if you take the little small steps to your desire, and some people believe in this, some people they don't, but I mean, like truly, like if there's a car you want, go test drive it. If this is what you want or that you want, I mean, surround yourself by the things that you want to envision, and know that, like anything, think about anything in your life that you said you wanted. And once you had that in your mind, you got it. And that's all about, you took action, you thought about it, and you brought it to fruition.
And I think that, I think for as much as like to be in action, I think it's also mental action. It's physical action. It all works harmoniously together, right? And I think that in order for it to be well-rounded, it all has to be there, right? Because obviously we can't do something until we think about it. But if we're all in our head about it, well, then it's probably not going to happen out in the real world. But it starts up here, right? And the more, like whether it's a lack of sleep, whether it's bad diet, any of that, it all contributes to what it's going to be in that very moment. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do today?
And, for those that may have like verbally or visually have professed that you plan to do something, and then for some reason you didn't, I feel like the need to say, forgive yourself for that. And if it didn't work out for you that way this time, then don't humiliate yourself or feel like you didn't do it. Do it quietly. Take the actions quietly and surprise people. But what I will tell you to do, take the pictures, take the videos privately, and you'll be better when you know, so who said this? A lot of people said this, but basically, if you will do graphs and track yourself, if all you do is track yourself, something's going to happen in your shift, because you're going to be like, okay, really, I could have did a little bit better in getting there. So I encourage you to do a graph that's going to keep you accountable for whatever you want to achieve, because it's huge.
One of the questions that would be really pertinent right here is, what are you putting at stake every day? Right? It's your life. It's not anybody else's. What are you putting at stake today?
Mayonnaise, ketchup, all these condiments, and adding more calories to it. I don't know.
No. What are you putting at stake today that you are going to disrupt, that you are going to show movement in? You know,
I know.
Yeah.
I'm saying, don't take it like a steak, like you're going to sit there and eat it.
Right.
You got to see the different kind of steak in it. It was a joke, Brian. You were slow to get it.
Yeah, it's Monday. Hey, yeah, it's Monday.
I'm Amelia Bedelia. I love those books. But seriously, that was so funny. At least to me, you guys. What kind of steak you gonna put it in? No, I don't put ketchup, and I don't put mayo on my steak.
Yeah, that's like going to a great steakhouse and you ask for A1. They look at you funny, and then the tip went up by another couple percentage points. You know?
Yeah, well, but then again, if it's that kind of steakhouse that ain't very good, it's like, here.
Well, but that's people's normal habit, you know. And it's like, if you know, depending on where people's point of view is, if they go to a really nice steakhouse, it might be in the minority about how many times they go to one of those versus the place where they always have to add that.
Yeah.
But, you know, let's even put it out there, like, okay, what defines a great steak? I mean, a Vegas steakhouse is going to be a lot different than the local place. You know, what did Sandy put up there?
Yeah, I caught him off guard. Yeah, I did. He doesn't want to admit it, but I did.
No, you did. I was saying, remember the improv stuff? Yes,
yeah. I was definitely. You see, that's the thing with visual, or I mean, audible. You know, it's like, you know, he said, "Let's take you." The goofy mood. I needed this laughter, you guys. The world is just so crazy out there right now, and it's kind of affecting it's trying to bring my spirit down, and I'm not allowing it to. And the fact is I love that we're raw and real, because that makes us take action as opposed to just thinking about the good shows. That's why Brian and I try not to talk too much off camera, because we leave some good stuff on there.
And I'm grateful, Lynn, that you brought that up, you know, because here's the thing. After we get off with you, we talk about, you know, that one time we talked for 2 hours right after.
Oh, gosh.
And, you know, we kind of tighten that up a little bit, because
yeah, it's too long.
But what we've identified is that the nuggets that we share with each other are things that we should be sharing with you. So we purposely tighten that up to talk about, okay, the next topic, and then the question for all of you to consider. And
we do love organically how we just bring out these topics and what we want to do with this show. And
it's the way life goes. You know, you guys being with us here right now, you know, you're improvising with us. I mean, you know, you're doing anywhere between one thing and 1,000 things right now.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. And so we're grateful that you're here. This is why we want to do this show. And we want you to ponder things that we're talking about, and let you know that right now it's okay to look within and look at it a little different. We've got so many memories that come up every day that you think about it. The same thing comes. It's just neurologically connected. And in such a way in your head, disrupt it and question it and look at it from a different point.
Well, and to give credit where credit's due, Jeffrey Gittimer has been a mentor of mine for many years. The guy helped save my life, you know, going through a near-death experience, and my dad passing away unexpectedly 9 months after my near-death experience. But he said something that I want to share with all of you guys is that what are you willing to do that others are not willing to do? And that speaks to everything right here. What are you willing to do that others are not willing to do? Because that's where you need to be if you are committing to a higher standard. Not anything that you ask anybody else about, where you want to be. And I think that our society has moved into something where everybody wants the magic pill. You know, we see it everywhere. They want an answer to their question, but the whole foundation is a bigger conversation, right? Is that they are asking questions based on a symptom, not the overall foundation of having everything that they need to deal with whatever's in their place right then and there.
Right. It's just like when you go to the doctors, they treat the symptoms with a prescription, you know, and you shouldn't do that.
I mean, here's the thing. Look at it this way, Lynn, is that if we looked at a doctor, let's say, you know, everybody has a question that they want an answer to, but if the origin of the question is much deeper,
Eat an apple, eat vegetables.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Let's look at it from a standpoint of the patient going in and saying, hey, doctor, here's what's wrong with me. The doctor's not going to write them a prescription. They're going to do their own information. They're going to gather their own information to determine for themselves whatever's going on here. And
right.
I think that not enough of us as human beings do the inner work. We're willing to take on questions from others that could give us access so we can answer our own stuff, because ultimately we have to decide we have to answer our own questions, right?
That's right.
And I think that too many people want the answers, but it's like, okay, well, that doesn't exist. We put ourselves in front of the people that can get us to think in such a way where we ultimately answer our own questions.
Absolutely. And that's what we're trying to do here, which Sandy says.
Good to have a different perspective. That is how we learn to do things differently and not stay the same. Absolutely, Sandy. Now, I think what one of the most misunderstood things in our world today is that, like, and I'm not going to get into some of those trigger areas, which we know what those are, is that there's a distinction between people sharing their point of view and just having a discussion versus sharing their point of view and then they want to win over each other to that point of view. Totally different distinctions there, you know?
And that's what I love about you and I. We don't feel that way. We'll talk about it, but we're not sitting here trying to convert each other's mental thoughts on that. And if anything, I love just being open with you to see, oh, well, you know, I never seen it that way. I'm always open to see it from a different perspective because.
Well, and everybody wants to put it, you know, everybody wants to complete everything in life, right? Yeah. It's like, okay, I did this, I did that. And don't get me wrong. With any project we're up to, we want to complete that project because it's either open or it's complete. Let's just be honest, right?
Right.
It's either lingering or we put it to rest and we're done with it. But in life is not linear. You know, right. The only linear part about life is that we're born and we die. That's it.
Yeah.
If we're looking at it in a straight line, but how we get from there to there, that's the journey.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And we should live and learn every day and learn something new or do something different or whatever, you know? And so
what I can say about, you know, the cost of inaction is the bare minimum that can happen is you are where you are. You stay where you are. And if you continue to stay where you are, more than likely it's going to retract.
And don't wonder why you are where you are.
Oh, good Lord. That's many more shows right there.
But you know what I mean? Because it truly is. No, but I eat the same thing and I'm gaining 5 pounds. Okay. No, I eat the same thing and I'm losing weight. Well, maybe there's something wrong. I mean, these are some of the different conversations I have with my dad. He's a diabetic. And when his sugar goes up or sugar goes down, you know, that's a gauge of what you're doing and what's going on. You know, it's, Sandy says, it's a dash between life and death.
Absolutely.
Yep.
100%.
It is.
What I do have to say about the COI, the cost of inaction, is that you have more to lose by not taking action than you do by taking it. Now, it may not show up now or tomorrow, but like you said in the beginning, Lynn, regret. Mm-hmm. Are we going to, at the end of our life, are we going to be sitting in intensive care or whatever's going on with us in wishing that we would have did more with our lives?
Right. Yeah.
We have that opportunity right now, but only we can choose it day by day, moment by moment. How's today going to look? How's tomorrow going to look?
Yeah, Glenn Morshower says, just think about your obituary. I mean, being 90 something years old, and yeah, are you happy with what's going to be written in your obituary? Yeah,
And when we look at those that are a part of our lives, those that are truly a part of our lives, not acquaintances, but people truly in our core, are they rooting us on, or are they trying to pull us down?
Yep, hindering your growth. And that's just it. Surrounding yourself people that actually motivate you, inspire you, to make you have competition with yourself. I mean, a friendly competition is good too, but within yourself, to say, especially when somebody you admire, or like, good example, I mean, my daughter, I'm so proud of her. She's lost like 75 pounds, and I always worried about her health. And I think she talked to me how I upset her once that I took her. I think she was probably 8, 12. I don't know, but she was younger, and I took her to a dietitian. I told the doctor, and I literally was crying there because diabetes on both sides. And I didn't know if it was her thyroid. I didn't know anything was going on with her. And so I was really, really worried that something's going to go on. She was heavier than she should have been for her age, but it was a spurt or whatever. But I was not being vain like my mom was to me about weight. I was more that, is there something wrong with her that I'm missing that we need to change, Mm-hmm. And so I'm just proud of her. I mean, her seeing the way I ate and changing her behavior, and then seeing me exercise, and she goes to the gym. Like I'm so proud of her, where she's at and the action she took. And it's all from everything she's seen me do and everything. But now that I've not been able to exercise the way I want, and had health issues and blah, 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 she's like, I guess the good thing about me being heavy right now is that she looked like, I don't want to be where mom's at. I don't want to have these problems on top of health issues. So that's been a blessing. I mean, I'm going to work with all the challenges I have, but I'll be damned if I don't take action of what I can in my situation.
There's one thing that nobody can ever take away from you, is that you do it for yourself first.
Exactly. And so I wanted it so bad for her, because she's my daughter and she's my miracle baby. And so, to see her take action and everything, now it's blessing, because now it inspires me to do the same, the best I can. Go ahead.
And one thing for everybody just to take on is that when you're up to big things and you're doing something that you're proud of, and you may not have a lot of agreement for in your life, keep an eye out for the comments that you get from people. Are they there to push you on, or are they there to bring you down? It's interesting, because we might become immune to that kind of stuff, because disruption and doing something against the grain of status quo is not easy, because it's a day-by-day thing, and you just got to grind it out sometimes, right? And you might be on an island lonely, but you're doing it because of what your heart's telling you, right? And you're in the belief. You believe that you can do it.
Yeah. When I did those pleasure parties, I started out heavy then too. And then I lost about 139 pounds. And people were like, wow, Lynn, but then it's so funny, because people would say to me, Lynn, I'm so proud of you. And when I lose weight, I go ahead and I wear the baggy clothes till literally till like my pants are going to fall down kind of thing. And I wear baggy clothes for a long time. And then I'll wear, nice fitting clothes. And the funny part is, like, some people, Lynn, oh my gosh, you are really heavy. Like, they'll tell you exactly how they felt, And then there's the people that, they support you or they don't. And it's okay, because you just realize that they're really talking about themselves. Yeah, I literally even had a neighbor once from down the street write me a letter and says, Lynn, I noticed you lost weight and you're looking really good and I admire you. And she basically said, because I can't lose weight, and I can't see that for myself. And it's just, when people say things, it's really what they're talking about themselves as well.
Well, and we're vulnerable enough, like from a standpoint that we're going into our uncharted territory ourselves, but we're vulnerable to take on what somebody else is dealing with. compassion is one thing. Another compassion is different than making ourselves them or taking it on that has to be us, right?
Right.
Supporting them from a compassionate point of view is making sure they're heard and empathy. But that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be our reality.
That's right.
And this morning, one of my mentors, Bill, who I talked about, is that he talked about people that you either say yes, or if you say no, you either justify it by can't or won't.
Absolutely.
Huge
And
distinctions.
yep.
Huge distinctions.
Look at what Sandy said.
Who has the limiting belief, you or them? Absolutely. Yeah.
I love that.
Well, and then Sandy is that gets a little bit murky, because if we're not strong internally with our own beliefs, our brain could be playing tricks on us in terms of, is it our belief or is it somebody else's belief that we just marry together?
Right. And that's a great point. And
It's
so
when it comes to education, because that's where this came from, is for once you reach a certain level with training and development, it's like all of a sudden you've done all the courses with certain people. Eventually, the only option is like the personal coaching, right? Where you're working one-on-one with that person. And for me, I'm going with this right now, it's shocking. It's profound, and also though a little uncomfortable, because it's like, whoa, I've reached a level that I'm comfortable with, but am I ready to take that leap? Yeah. And, actually do it from a standpoint that I got to go all in on myself, and I don't know what it's going to look like, but I can tell you what, that ball is rolling so much. I just need to do it, and I'll figure out what it's going to look like later.
And you're absolutely right, because this time, at being 55 and arthritis and all these, medical statistics, my mind, when I'm in the training mode, I push hard. I don't give a shit if I'm in pain, because that's how I train. I'm hardcore. But now I said, Lynn, don't break that freaking hip, because that is going to be for real, But I've broken both legs twice. So I have to just keep mindful of that. But I'm excited, because I truly, this time, I don't know where this journey is going to take me. So I'm pushed, more excited to see where the results end this time, as opposed to any other time. And then the regret is not taking action before the arthritis got to the degree it did. But again, I can't harp myself on that. It is what it is, but it's just, my mind loves to be the athletic mind loves being in that mindset. So
let's look at the cost of inaction from a standpoint of somebody that wants to do something and they have the belief in themselves, but they don't do it because they are consumed with what other people think. Let's talk a few minutes about that.
Yeah. Well, like just when I go in the gym, a big girl, go to the gym, I'm double jointed, I'm flexible, and they're looking at me for two reasons. That girl's out of shape, but look at what she can do. And I go in there and I'm like, I get people that respect me and say, hey, I'm glad you're here. Some people are like, you don't look good enough to come to the gym. Just all these different things. And I realize, and I've got to realize this time, is I'm going there with the mindset of when I was into bodybuilding. I'm going in there to work me. I tune everyone else out. But having my brother tell me, hey, you're skinny to you're chubby to you, whatever. The people that I care about are the people that are going to love me and know me. Anybody else that's there and that are going to judge me, that's okay, because let them judge me 6 months from now. It's always, and I've been in the gym where I have lost 80 pounds this one particular time. And I had people come and go, gosh, you know what? I've been watching you here, come in here, and then just kind of just ignored you being here. And today, how much weight did you lose? But muscles don't forget. So, but again, I just love the different reactions I get, because people are like, I love it. I love it because it just encourages me to be in my own and not what they're thinking.
I also think that there's a distinction there, is that if you are doing what you want for your reasons and for your own being, that's one thing. If you're doing it to get accolades and to have other people notice, I don't think it's authentic.
No,
you know what I mean?
that house crumbles. There's no foundation there.
Yep.
And so I'm okay. Good example. When it finally got to a point where the doctor said, I need to give you a handicap sticker, Lynn, for your arthritis, so that you can, because I told him I don't go in the stores anymore because after a while I'm in too much pain. After 15 minutes of walking, I'm in pain. I can't do it no more. And then I start crippling up. And then I have to time myself. Okay, I'm getting pain. I got to check out. I got to get here. I can only tolerate for so long, right? So I have to think that way. And so I would be embarrassed because I'm chunky. I would be embarrassed to use the handicap sticker because I did worry that people would look at me, because when I walk into the store, I'm strutting this booty. I'm looking all good except just chunky, right? But let me tell you, when I get out of the store, you'd see me crippled up. But I always felt guilty because when I walk out of the car, I had eyes on me, and I would be paralyzed thinking that, okay, so you think I stole my grandmother's, handicap sticker or something, and my daughters are like, Mom, people don't understand what you've been through. And it's like, you know what? I'm proud that I've made my girls thinkers naturally, that they remind me when I'm down to think, well, you know what? They don't know what I've been through, and I don't need to tell them what I've been through, and they don't need to understand. But if you want to call the popo because you think I parked there and I shouldn't be, bring it on, because you'll see it's my handicap sticker. So, I worked at a hotel, and the manager there, and I don't care if somebody shows her this or not because I don't work there no more, but she had the nerve to tell me that I am not to park in the handicap spot when it's icy and snow outside. I was like, this card supersedes you telling me that, So anyways, the point is that I have realized that I got out of my own thinking of the judgment of taking that and realizing, no, I need to do this because now I need to be nice to myself. I'm going to take action, but I have to take action, So yeah, I'll be the girl on the ice. They'll be walking all freaking funny because I'm like, I'm not going to fall. I'm the little Michelin girl. I'm not going to fall. I don't care if the mission is to keep moving and move funny as heck and dancing or whatever I got to do. I'm going to do it. It's going to be different. I'm just going to laugh my way to where I want to be and take action because, without it, I'm going to have more regrets and more shame.
One of the most powerful questions, or not questions, but quotes that comes to mind is what other people think is none of your business.
That's right. That's right.
I don't know who said it, but it stands out to me a lot because if your belief is strong, like one of the things that, to be completely transparent with everybody, raw and real, is I don't care what other people think about me. Yeah. And that has been years of therapy and all of that. I'm going to show up every day being the same person. I'm going to listen. I'm a big teddy bear, but I'm going to just do what I'm going to do. And it's a daily practice to shut it all off, shut off the noise, because nobody pays my bills. Nobody's in my head. Nobody's dealing with what I'm dealing with. And I'm not going to give them that access, that mental real estate.
Yeah. And I'm excited because I'm going to laugh my way to thinness because I'm going to be the chunky girl. It's going to be, the last 2 years I've been playing a video about exercise and going back to the gym. And I don't care, man. People taking pictures of me doing the wacky things that I don't care. It's just, it's going to be an adventure. And I truly am in the mindset that I know that I'm going to sculpt myself by doing action as opposed to not taking action. And this time though, I do it with so much excitement to prove to other people that if I truly can do it, they can. And that, I've come to the realization like you have. I used to care what people thought, and that didn't serve me. That didn't serve me at all. But now I do it. What I care about is that I'm impacting those that felt the way I did and realized that I got out of my own way to do something that made me feel uncomfortable. And we're talking about uncomfortable exercise-wise, mental-wise, because I'm not going to lie. 50 pounds from now, that's actually a heavy weight for me too, but I look damn good. I never value where I'm at. I'm always have when I see my friends back east, I'd always say, oh yeah, I'd be so shameful saying, hi, here I am, and I'm so fat. And I'd be so shameful for it. Like even being on the stage, like, I got to be here and everybody's got to look at me. And I got to say, Lynn, they don't know that you have a condition. They don't know what you've been through. But my heart, I love talking about health and nutrition and this and that. I may not look it, but when we realize that you don't know the whole story and you should not worry about it if you don't know the whole story,
right, then
we would be a better world in society if we just knew that we're going to love people for where they're at and not what we think.
Well, and to just have such an openness without judgment that it's like everybody comes from a different place. And I think that a lot of people misunderstand, like, it's such we don't even have to think about, like when we look out, our brain is going to do what it's going to do automatically.
Yeah.
So a lot of this is conscious practice to disrupt what is just there automatically. Without knowing somebody, you're already thinking about who that person might be or how they look, like if they have a beard, if they're of a different color. None of that should matter.
Right.
But the biggest opportunity, gold, and priceless gift is to say hi.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is I think what people don't understand is some people purposely do things just to keep people away. And I do that sometimes too.
Yeah.
When I'm around certain people, either their energy either brings me down or not, either I'm going to talk to them to death in the way of annoying them so they stay away from me, or I'm just going to embrace them and love them. And so, like I said, people don't realize your relationship with one person doesn't reflect a relationship with another.
Well, and it doesn't say anything about you.
No, or them.
Unless you make it about you,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yep. The 4 agreements. I like the 4 agreements. We should talk about the 4 agreements sometime. Yeah, I love the 4 agreements. It's a little powerful book.
Priceless pieces right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 4 Agreements is like the best little book ever. You are beautiful, Sisa. She is just beautiful, and thank you. So again, if we could just encourage you to think about that. Please talk about that. Yeah. Okay. Wow, look at this. We're getting close to almost the end of the time here. What is it we want to talk about? Did you slack and not put the quote we are tomorrow, or
I gave you the question. I gave it to you on Friday.
Okay, yeah. Oh, so it's this one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead.
Yep. So the question for everybody to ponder over the next day until we join you back tomorrow, Tuesday, is at what cost has inaction impacted your life? What we're not talking about is financial. No, we're talking about years off your life or things you internalize about yourself, right? How you step out from the status quo.
And relationships that you have too. Yeah. The inaction of not resolving or, whether severing a relationship or mending a relationship or moving forward from that. Mm-hmm. I mean, that has a physical and mental impact on your life, and not correcting it when you should is dying of a slow death, truly.
Well, and you know what to do. You're just not doing anything about it.
Yeah.
And whose fault is that? Or whose opportunity and ownership of that is if we know what to do, but we're not willing to do whatever it is to. Yeah. All of us.
Absolutely.
And too much of our life is about fleeing ourselves of responsibility and looking at the world for justification. If we look in, we're going to find all we need in terms of where we need to be without ever having to look outward.
Yeah. And sometimes people, if we would all work on our inner part of our life and reflect out the best and just stop from what the world is doing right now, we could change the trajectory of all of us being safe, things being better for all of us. I mean, one thing I do love about Montana is you drive anywhere, especially out on the highway or in the country, and when you drive by somebody, people, raise their hand to say hi,
Yep.
I mean, it's just the simple things in life that make the big difference. And I just wish and pray that you all find peace. You all stay away from social mainstream media. I'm not saying not watch it, because they have some tender, sweet stories, but the things that hurt you and that just bring you down, don't bring that in your system.
I mean, so just to recap the question for tomorrow, at what cost? So it could be a trip you wanted to take. It could be a book you want to write. It could be a body of education. Anything that is in your lives that you didn't do because this overcame your actions, we want to hear about it.
Yeah, definitely. So just privately message us. That would be great. I've got to get Brian to start going in the clubhouse so that we can actually have the rooms where impact your life, in action, impact your life. And Brian, we really should have those conversations there so that we can share them here and talk with them so that we can share it with everybody on YouTube and Facebook that are not on Clubhouse. I wish that was on both platforms. The world, they're growing so fast. They have like almost 2 million people on there or something now. And it's a lot for that server. So anyways, I think we're about ready to wrap it up here. I'm excited about that. And I hope you guys found some value in this. Let us know what you think. And any last words, Brian?
No, this concept and this thought process, return on investment, there's two parts to it. It's what you get and what you don't get. And we usually only focus on what we do get and not what we don't get, but that's the vulnerability. That's the part that either we identify or we don't do anything about. And we have the choice in the matter to be in our own space, to be like, if I do nothing here, what's going to happen?
Okay,
And
Brian. No, go ahead.
I don't think a lot of us actually look at it from, we get the dopamine hit when we envision what we may get, but we also don't want to look at the reality of what we don't get if we don't take action.
I may not be
No, I'm just saying, I'm not going to play that again, but I'm definitely going to look at TikTok and this kind of more action as far as exercise. I don't care how you look at things, people. Find a way that you can do something different that's going to get you a better result than what you're getting now. And if you go ahead.
And if you are not going to take action, just remind yourself of what will not happen.
Yeah.
Just be totally honest with yourself that if I don't go work out, or if I don't write 2 pages in a book, or whatever you're up to, the book isn't going to come to fruition. That article's not going to get done. I think that we trick our brains to be like, well, if I don't take that step today, I want that result tomorrow. Well, it's day by day, not in a day.
Thank you, Seesaw.
What are you trying to say?
Yeah, he
rabbit
needs.
Hole is my is why I'm holding back.
I know. Well, you know what? It's funny you say that because I'm truly. I have the Glance planner, and I'm truly like everything's gonna have to start being, the structure of where we're going and what we're doing, is catapulting up there. But I think, Brian, for our show, it's definitely somewhere we need to be in because the topics and the discussions and to share these stories that are over there on Clubhouse, dude, we're gonna, I'll even take backstage time and go over there. But I'm telling you, it would really do it. Like Cisa said, it would really help for our topics to discuss this. So soon in the future, when we say today's question is, we'll meet you on Clubhouse and we will discuss this. And if you're not on Clubhouse, the following day, we will recap and share with you the input we've received. So I will let you go. It's time to say goodbye. And until tomorrow, you guys have a good one. We'll see you soon.